This is my most requested video with a whopping 2 people who asked for it. So here we go, Japanese particles. So here are the main Japanese particles, wa, ga, and o. And if you know hiragana, then you'll notice that the first one is pronounced wa, but it's spelled with the hiragana ha. And then the last one too, it's pronounced o, but it's used this weird other o character, which is also in hiragana, but only used for particles. And so I asked my mom about this, who happened to be visiting the other day. Okay, もう一つ質問。はい。Why is wa spelled with the ha? Hiragana no ha.
I think I'm not sure, but usually we do that.
Yeah.
私はなんだけど、
はって書く。
usually はって書くね。
So I looked it up on the internet, and I found out it's mostly due to pronunciation drift. So I believe hahifufeho used to sound a little bit more like hafifufeho, and you can hear that a little bit retained in the fu sound, like fu-sen. But in particular, ha was more like fa or pa, maybe at the beginning or middle of the word, and more like wa towards the end of the word. And then around the end of World War II, they decided to standardize all of the spellings. And so words like kawa, which is the Japanese word for river, used to be spelled ka and ha, but they actually just replaced it with ka and then wa. And they did that everywhere. And it was fine because most of the time you see these words, they're spelled with the kanji, and so you don't even see the hiragana spelling. But then when it came to particles, well, particles are always in hiragana. And so rather than change the particle, the hiragana particle that they always use, they just told everybody, well, you can still use ha, but we all know that it's actually pronounced wa. And the same is true for o. It used to be pronounced, this is actually the hiragana character for the sound wo, but everybody still pronounces it o, and they decided, okay, we're just gonna leave it. And in particular, particles were more susceptible to the old style spelling and pronunciation drift because particles are always attached at the end of a word. So they modify the word before it. And so sounds that happen at the end of the word tend to get a little bit more softened. So ha became more like wa, and then he became more like e, and then wo became more like o. And so all of these sounds drifted more towards their current pronunciation, but they still retain the old style spelling because all particles are written in hiragana, and it was just too much of a pain to change every single particle everywhere. So I digress. But moving on, what do wa, ga, and o actually mean? Well, wa is the topic marker, and in English is kind of like saying as for X. So banana wa tabemasu, as for bananas, I eat them. Or saru wa tabemasu, as for monkeys, they eat them. Now, if you're paying attention, you'll notice that I said the same phrase, wa tabemasu, for both bananas and monkeys. And in the one case, it's used for the object. So bananas are the object or the thing that is being eaten, and monkeys is the subject. So monkeys are doing the eating. And in English, the distinction between subject and object is made clear by the order. So you would say generally the subject first and then the object later. So monkeys eat bananas. Unless you're like Yoda, in which case you say, bananas, monkeys eat. But in general, most English speakers will say the subject and then the object. And in Japanese, it kind of tends to follow in that pattern as well, but not always. And wa is not used to indicate particularly whether something is a subject or whether something is an object. It's just used to indicate this is the topic that we're talking about. However, ga is used to generally indicate that it is the thing that it follows is the subject. So, watashi ga banana tabemasu. I am eating the banana. And so then it's a little bit confusing, like when would you use wa and then when would you use ga? And this is actually the subject of like PhD theses. So I asked my mom. お母さん。はい。waとga どう違いますか? How are wa and ga different?
Ga, I think it's stronger, more emphasizing.
More emphasizing. Okay.
と思う。
と思います。
私はリンゴが好きです。
Okay.
私がリンゴが好きです。
Yeah.
I am the one like.
Oh, I see. So for emphasis.
I just say 私は I like リンゴ。
Oh,
I mean,
なるほど。
私が is I am the one.
Okay. There you have it. Ga is mostly used for emphasis, and then wa is more the general purpose thing. Wa is also used for comparison. So if you say like, I like bananas, but I don't like apples. バナナは好きけど、 リンゴはあまり好きじゃない. And then ga is also used for answering questions because you're generally emphasizing the answer. And in that case, it can be used as an object. So what do you like? It's like, well, I like bananas. Like, banana ga suki desu. But in general, ga is used to indicate the subject, and it's mostly used for emphasis. And then that brings us to our final particle, which is probably the simplest one, which is o. And then o is just used to indicate the object. And it's not particularly used for emphasis or anything else. It's just to say this is the object which the action is occurring on or with. Yeah, so there's wa, ga, and o. Next we have the particles ni, de, and e. And these are the particles used to indicate location. So ni and de indicate where the action is happening, and ni is used for the state of verbs, or in other words, verbs where you don't have to actively do something. So I exist, or I live, or something like that. So I live in Berkeley. Berkeley ni sundeimasu. Or the apple is on the table. Ringo wa teiburu no ue ni arimasu. And then de is used for the more active verbs, the verbs where you have to actually do something, like I am studying at school. Gakko de benkyou shiteimasu. Or I am playing at the park. Koen de asondeimasu. And to indicate a goal or direction of an action, then you would either use ni or e. Ni is a little bit more general purpose, like to or something, and then e is a little bit more specific, like towards. And so if you were saying I'm going to the train station, eki ni ikimashita. And then if I'm going towards the train station, eki e ikimashita. And then ni is also used to indicate a specific time, like next Sunday, or Sunday I'm going to Tokyo. Nichiyoubi ni Tokyo e ikimasu. And then for that second one, Tokyo e ikimasu or Tokyo ni ikimasu, depending on whether you're going towards Tokyo or to Tokyo. Like, they're pretty much the same there. Yeah. And then there's the particle no, which is just the possessive particle, which in English is like the apostrophe S. So my car, watashi no kuruma. And I just wanted to point out that it's more like the apostrophe S and not like the particle of, which would be the opposite way. And then there's the particles to and ya, which are both used to make lists. And the only difference is that to is used to make exhaustive lists, and then ya is used to make inexhaustive lists. And by that I mean, if I say I like bananas and apples, then that's the full list of things that I'm indicating. So banana to ringo ga suki desu. And then if I were to say I like things like bananas, like apples, etc., banana ya ringo ya suki desu. And then, yeah, that's about it. And finally, I wanted to talk about these four particles, which you can throw at the end of a sentence. For example, there's yo, which is used for emphasis. Gakko wa suki desu yo, like she really likes school. Or ga, which is used to kind of conditionalize something or to make like a but at the end. Gakko wa suki desu ga, like, well, I like school, but. Or ne, which is used for confirmation, like Gakko wa suki desu ne, like you like school, right? Or ka, which is used to change any sentence into a question, like Gakko wa suki desu ka? Like, do you like school? So the interesting thing about this is that you can just throw these at the end of a sentence to completely change the tone of it. Like any sentence can become a question by just adding ka at the end. But you can also use it while you're talking to somebody. If you're gauging their interest or their objection to something, then you kind of soften it by throwing in one of these prepositions. But anyways, there you have it. Japanese particles. I hope you got something out of it. It's a very technical topic, one that I'm not an expert on, but I did a little bit of research on the internet. And so hopefully this provides some context and like a good introduction to it. But if you're confused, go look it up on like Wikipedia or something like that. They're like way more knowledgeable about this sort of thing than I am. Or talk to like a Japanese instructor, because they're gonna know a lot more than I do. But anyways, yeah, hope this was useful and interesting to you. Thank you! 大君、なんか日本語で言って。
何か